More beer from Yorkshire. Take it away, Fred.
Now then, we're back.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one from the People's Republic of Yorkshire. And it is the Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout. Now, I thought I'd tried all the Sam Smith's beers, apart from the fruity organic beers that they do. I think it's everything from the range apart from their organic beers. And the one that stood out for me was the Tally Porter. I thought that was really nice, and then I tried on the strength of that I tried the Imperial Stout, and the Imperial Stout didn't really do it for me, and I'll tell you why. It's because Sam Smith's, in certain beers that they do, they put cane sugar in their beer. Now that's not unusual. The Belgians do it as well, but they call it candy sugar. It's basically caramelised, unrefined beet sugar, cane sugar, whatever. You know, that's not an unusual thing. In British beers and Belgian beers, they do it more so in Belgian, in the doubles and the triples. But Sam Smith's seem to have made that a bit of a trademark with them, and I didn't really like it. And I tried their Imperial Stout. I tried the Chocolate Stout, which was really sweet. I didn't really like that. I thought that was a poor one. And I thought I'd tried all the Sam Smith's beers, but then a subscriber whose name escapes me at the moment, he was an American fella. I can't remember your name, sorry mate, but you know who you are. He suggested that I do a review of this because I hadn't done one. And that got me thinking that I actually hadn't, and I thought I'd reviewed all of them, but I obviously hadn't. And I got this from, I think it was Beer Sniffers, and I'll tell you exactly how much it was because I have the price list here. Beer Sniffers, Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout, £2.75. So that is not bad. And I love what Sam Smiths do. Now, I know I take the piss out of Yorkshire and all that, and I'm probably signing my own death warrant because I'm going to be going up there in October, and there will be a lynch mob waiting for me, led by Fred Truman.
I'll sit there then.
It's a really good brewery. They do some fantastic beers. The ones that stand out for me from Sam Smith is the Nut Brown Ale is amazing. The wheat beer, really good. The organic lager, in my opinion, is the best British brewed lager out there. I just think it's sublime. And the reason I say that is they used to have a kind of franchise stroke brew cooperation with Iinga, and I'm sure, and they used to sell what was Iinga Brow, I think it was, that's what they called it, and I remember it was quite a nice, it had like a little fella dressed up in a Bavarian sort of outfit and all that on the pump. It was like a 3D pump, and the lager was really good, and I mean really good. It came from Iinga came over to Tadcaster, and they obviously showed them their know-how on how to brew lager and what to do, and Sam Smith's lapped that up and came up with an absolute winner. And I'm sure there is a lot of the knowledge that's went into Iinga Brown, because you can't get Iinga Brown anymore. They stopped selling that, I think, in 2005, but I do remember it in the Sam Smith pubs. But they do the organic lager now, and that is absolutely amazing. And the other stuff, the Tally Porter, I really like that. That was a good one. The Imperial Stout, I didn't like. The Chocolate Stout, didn't like, and they both contain that cane sugar. The Winter Warmer, I do remember being really nice. And the Yorkshire Stingo, didn't really like that. Again, a bit too high in the spirit alcohol. That was like their version of the old ale. And it had a bit too much sugar in it as well. It just didn't do it for me. So what I'm trying to get across here is Sam Smiths do some great beers, but the ones that I didn't really like were the ones that contain the cane sugar, and this contains cane sugar, so I'm a little bit wary of it. But I'm not going to let that put me off. So let's investigate and see what this is. Right, Sam Smiths, of course, based in Doncaster in Yorkshire. I can't help putting on a fucking funny Yorkshire accent when I read anything to do with Yorkshire. But they're a very old traditional brewery. There's the labels. I love the way they kept the innkeeping with the old style labels and all that. And on the back, the celebrated Oatmeal Stout, brewed with well water at the old brewery, sunk in 1758, still in use with the hard water being drawn from 85 feet underground, fermented in Yorkshire stone squares. Yeah, this is a big thing with Sam Smiths. They ferment their beer in Yorkshire stone squares to celebrate, to create an almost opaque, wonderfully silky and smooth textured ale with a complex medium dry palate and bittersweet finish. And the ingredients, now this is where the alarm bells are ringing. Now I have no problem with oatmeal being put in a stout. It's quite a common practice. It's been used for many a stout and a porter. It gives the beer more body. And it's got that in there, it's got oatmeal in there, but this contains malted barley. Okay, the malted barley will be the roasted stuff that's giving this the colour. Cane sugar, now there is the alarm bell. The cane sugar, and it contains roasted barley. Sorry, that's what's giving it the colour, not the malted barley. The malted barley would be I'd imagine it's like the pale malt or the base malt that they've used on this. The roasted barley will be what's giving it its dark colour. It's got yeast, hops, doesn't say what hops, unfortunately, and it's got carbon dioxide. And what I really like about Sam Smiths is they give you 550ml. Now, 550ml is a pint. It's an imperial pint, or as near as damn it. Most brewers now will only give you 500ml tops, even in sort of Germany. Well, that's a half litre, so you can sort of half understand that. But yeah, I do like that, and they do that with all their beers in the bottles. And it's 5%. So let's stop gassing and let's get this open. Right, the cap is just a plain old silver cap, gold cap, sorry, I do apologise, and it's just got some tin foil around it. Normally they have a cap with, oh, is it? Or am I talking absolute fucking nonsense? Nah, sometimes they have a cap with the white rose of fucking Yorkshire on it, but that ain't got it. Right, let's get this into the glass and see what we can get. Now, it doesn't say to pour this like a Guinness, but I'm going to do that anyway, just to see what flavour, what aromas I can get. And there it is in the glass. It's got a tan coloured head, quite lively head as well. It's that 1.5 finger. That is, yeah, that is the darkest ruby you will ever see. It's almost black. What we're getting on the nose out of the glass. Wow. Very roasted and sweet. Yeah, I'm getting that roasted malt coming through there. Coffee aroma. There's a sweetness on it as well. But it does smell interesting. Let's get a little bit more in there. Just see if I can get some more out of it. Give it a little bit of a swirl. Yeah, sweet chocolate malt and coffee, but there's a bitterness to it, a roasted bitterness that is coming through as well. And it does smell interesting, but the proof is in the tasting. So let's get it down the hatch. Good health. Wow, that has got some complex flavours going on in there. Okay, initial thoughts in the mouth. Very fruity. For a stout, that is quite fruity, and I think what's doing that is the sugar, because there's a sweetness to this, and with that sweetness it's giving it like a very dark fruit, almost Christmas cake like taste to it. It's very rounded. There is no harsh bitterness. Now I know I always go back to this, but the Shepherd Neame Double Stout, now if ever you want intense flavours, that is the marker for it. It's super rich, quite bitter as well, and very intense in its flavours. This isn't. This is very rounded, quite balanced, but there is, as I say, and I don't want to labour this point, there is a sweetness to it that I'm in two minds about at the moment. One thing I will say, it's very, very drinkable, and compared to Guinness, it's got much more body than Guinness, much more flavour than Guinness, and it's sweeter than Guinness, and that sweetness gives it a flavour that's I think it's more balanced than Guinness, and it's got more body than Guinness too. And I'm comparing it to Guinness because, you know, they're the sort of beers that this would be up against. And there's, you know, the Murphy's as well. Murphy's is a lot sweeter than Guinness. I think this is slightly sweeter than Murphy's. From memory, I haven't tried Murphy's in a while, and somebody keeps on at me to review Murphy's, and I have to do it. But when I see Murphy's, they're normally in sort of 6-packs and all that, and I don't really want to buy a 6-pack of Murphy's because, to be honest, I probably wouldn't drink 6 cans of Murphy's. But this isn't bad. Yeah, that's really nice. The more I drink it, the more balanced it feels. There is a sweetness, but it's not obtrusive. And I like that, and I prefer it to the chocolate stout. The chocolate stout was a bit too much of a novelty beer, if you know what I mean. I think it's the Eagle Brewery, they do a sticky toffee pudding beer, and it just tastes like some sort of alco pop. It is not nice at all. And to be honest, that's what the chocolate stout reminded me of. They put cocoa in it, they put a lot of sugar in it, and combined with the two, it just didn't really do it for me. But this isn't bad. I quite like this. There's some very complex flavours on this, as I said. You're getting a touch of coffee on there, right on the finish. That's where the bitterness comes through. But in between that, you've got quite a strong toffee malt, rounded off with some sweetness, a very, very nice mouthfeel with full body on it as well. And all in all, the overall package is very, very drinkable. Quite impressed. So what's the verdict on Sam Smith's Oatmeal Stout? A lot better than I thought it was going to be. I really had misgivings about this with the cane sugar, but Sam Smith's seem to have got that balance absolutely spot on. And the flavours are there, but with that cane sugar, in my perception, it gives it more fruity, dark fruit, Christmas cake type flavours. They're subtle, but they're there, and it rounds off that what sometimes can be got from the roasted barley, that harsh, bitter coffee, dark chocolate, 100% cocoa chocolate. It's not got that at all. It's all rounded off, all balanced. And what the end product is a relatively complex, easy drinking, full-bodied stout. And you know what? It don't taste bad at all. I wouldn't have expected anything less from the Sam Smiths. But as I said, you know, the cane sugar, that can be used well in this case, or it can be used, I think, in the wrong drink, if you know what I mean. You know, the ones that spring to mind, as I keep saying, it's the chocolate stout. The Yorkshire Stingo had that as well. The Imperial Stout had that. And it just put me off. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not averse to sugar being put into beers. You know, the vast majority of your Belgian doubles and trebles, that's put in there to, you know, round the flavours off, but more importantly, so it ferments in the bottle and it creates more carbon dioxide too, which gives it a nice head, usually on high ABV beers. But they've done it, they've done it really well here. They've got the balance spot on, and it's really nice. And I am going to give that a 9 out of 10 because it is that good. It is a supremely drinkable stout. Now, is it better than a Taddy Porter that they do? I don't know. That Taddy Porter was really nice. I'd say it's on a par with it, but drinking this now, this does seem a bit more drinkable. And it's nice. It hasn't got the really harsh flavours of a stout. They've got that balance just spot on. So that is a 9 out of 10. And I think another winner from Sam Smith's. And remember, beer is working class champagne.